insights about this adoption. We did a survey on about 10,000 Moroccans, so it's the biggest survey that has been ever done in Morocco. So let's jump to the slides. Okay. So many people just hear that in Morocco we have a mass adoption of cryptocurrency, but we don't have an idea about the scale of this adoption in Morocco, because as you know, it's a banned business, it's not authorized, at least according to the statement of the authorities. But if we get some reports that try to give us an idea about the adoption of cryptocurrency in Morocco, we have this big number of about $13 billion that represents the total of received value by Moroccans on 2 years. So Morocco is the 27th country when it comes to cryptocurrency adoption, and we are the second country in Africa. And of course, this is according to Chain Analysis report. Chain Analysis is a well-known entity when it comes to data analysis in blockchain and cryptocurrency space. So, as I said earlier, we have some very interesting numbers that about half or 60% of people that are being surveyed, they know at least what is cryptocurrency. So they are aware of cryptocurrency. And we got about 60%. The idea was we tried to profile this cryptocurrency user or this Moroccan cryptocurrency user. So we got that more than half, or 60% of surveyed people, they are young people between 20 and 30 years old. And we tried also to understand how much they are putting in cryptocurrency. So we got that the majority they are investing less than $10,000, about $1,000. Of course, we tried also to understand the reasons why they are investing in cryptocurrency. So we got, of course, that the first reason is speculation and trying to make some gain. But the second most important reason, and if you see, that's at the same scale. It's about 22% against 27%. So it's the financial freedom. So many people, specifically young people, they are using cryptocurrencies to gain financial freedom. And of course, we have other reasons like security, innovation, etc. And the study also gave us an interesting other point, which is how Moroccan they get cryptocurrency, how they buy cryptocurrency. So we found, because as I said, cryptocurrency market is a kind of ban, or at least. So most of users, they use cash and peer-to-peer operations to get cryptocurrency. So they go to some websites in which people they put money and they just reach out to them and buy using cash peer-to-peer. So this first part was, like I said, an overview about the cryptocurrency adoption in Morocco. So I'll try by that to give you just some numbers to understand that Morocco is a cryptocurrency nation and we have a mass adoption of cryptocurrency. But the second part of my presentation is more about blockchain technology without the usage of cryptocurrency. It's more about the technology than the financial aspect. So we did another survey among companies to try to understand how they are using blockchain, how much of them are using blockchain, etc. So we did this survey. We got some interesting results. We got that among all public and private companies in Morocco, we got about 80 big projects or big blockchain projects that have been implemented by these institutions. Here are some examples. We have, for example, usage of blockchain by BCP, which is the second biggest bank in Morocco, and with TNT, which is the biggest port in Morocco, the idea was that they use blockchain to manage payments for logistics. So if you go to the port and you want to process the operation, you can pay using a bank, but over blockchain without using any cryptocurrency. But it's like just a smart contract that triggers the payment on the banking system. We have others. We don't have much time to go through all of them. We have the usage of tokenization for financial assets, etc. So we try here to understand the adoption of cryptocurrency by sector. We got that the dominant sector for the adoption of blockchain in Morocco is more for the financial sector. So we got about 60% of the projects that we today are more related to finance, and we got also about the same percentage for eco-logistics and some other special cases. So when we zoom in and try to get not by sector, but by category or by use case, we got that the most important part is asset tokenization and also to secure transactions and payments. So in Morocco, they use more blockchain for these aspects, for asset tokenization, and for payments and securing transactions. So let's say one of the flagship characteristic of blockchain is to secure transactions and to secure records. So everybody or any entity that uses blockchain, they are aware of this aspect, and we try to harness this ability to build some secure services, either for clients or for other partners. Here we try to understand what technologies are used. So we found out that the most technology or the dominant technology is Hyperledger Fabric, which is let's say a B2B version of blockchain that you can run privately in a network. Then we have other kinds like Ethereum, Corda or others. And also we try to understand what are the types of the networks or how these companies are using blockchain. Either is it in a public format or private or consortium. Just to give you a brief idea about what does it mean. Public means that you go to the public blockchain like let's say like Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. They are networks that operate globally. Whereas private or consortium, they are networks that are operated by certain members. They are restrained networks that are operated by a set of, if it is a consortium, so it's operated by a set of operators. If it's private, it's generally governed and operated by a single entity. So we found out that most of use cases are in a private approach, then in a consortium approach, and an exception was using a public blockchain. Why? It's an exception because in Morocco we have this problem of regulation of cryptocurrency, and if you want to use a public blockchain, you have to pay fees of transactions in cryptocurrency. It's like a trade-off or a challenge for companies to go public, whereas you don't have access to cryptocurrency that you need to use to pay the fees of your transactions. We try to understand at which level of maturity blockchain projects are currently achieved by the companies, and we try to understand whether it's just for experimental. Are we currently at the experimental level, or we surpass that level to go fully in production? We found amazingly that many companies in Morocco they reach that level of going in production with working solution fully in production, and we got even not only companies but also some public authorities, and even one of the most important regulators in Morocco. So in this third part, I'm trying here to push forward some, let's say, some trendy use cases for both blockchain cryptocurrency, risk companies, and also public entities. The first one is cryptocustody. Cryptocustody is the idea that makes a bank the custodian of your cryptocurrency. So it's like making the bank, the old banks, and using bank that will instead manage your money. In general, it will manage in this case your cryptocurrency. So the role is to make the bank custodian that manages cryptocurrencies, and this is the first use case that the Moroccan banks will adopt once the cryptocurrency is authorized in Morocco. You can remember that. The second most important aspect or important idea or project that many companies or even blockchain project holders are interested in is stablecoins. Stablecoins are digital currency which is pegged to real money. In normal language, one stable dollar is equal to one normal dollar. So I can give you one stable coin dollar USD, and get back a normal dollar and vice versa. So it's stable. Its value is stable. So there is no fluctuation or whatsoever. So it's a digital currency, but it uses the same way as cryptocurrencies. They use blockchain, but they have stable value. But they are so liquid and so easy to use that are currently gaining momentum. Just to give you an idea, currently the sum or the total of the transactions made by stablecoins, they surpass the total value of transactions made by Visa and Mastercard. So, which is huge. And stablecoin is just, let's say, started operating in, let's say, in 21 or 22. So they currently are gaining momentum. I don't know if you have been following the news. Even Trump is trying to create its own stablecoin. So the idea is that currently I can create stablecoin which has a stable value, and I can give it to everybody to use. And if tomorrow we have the regulation of cryptocurrency, you will see private stable dirham for sure, because it's like the backbone of using financial service using blockchain and cryptocurrency. And the last one is asset tokenization. Like I said in the survey I presented, in Morocco we are interested in asset tokenization, but in a special case, which is the tokenization of financial assets. Whereas the tokenization is a broad concept that can even tokenize anything. Tokenization, in the simplest explanation, is to transform real objects and create a digital format that you will manage in a blockchain. It's like creating a digital twin, and you will be operating that digital twin in your blockchain. So you create a token, it's a value, it's a number, and you can put that number in the blockchain or a smart contract, and then you can define the life cycle of that token. And the last one is supply chain finance. Currently, this is a very big and huge business worldwide. Yesterday, I saw a slide in the speech of Mr. Saudi. He presented that Africa, they got only 1% of digital trade. Maybe nobody got the scale of that. Currently, there is a huge transformation in trade, global trade. Global trade currently is paper-based. It's like 90% paper-based. If you want to export, import, you have to go through a lot of papers. And this is problematic. I guess you know what. But it was always a problem. How can we digitize that? Because you have many containers. So blockchain found the ideal problem to solve. So you have multiple entities, multiple companies. You have a complex, let's say, workflow. So you can put your blockchain, try to digitize the process, the workflow, and put it in smart contract. Since the blockchain is transparent and it's like a trust machine, so you cannot, this machine cannot misbehave, or so you will have always this transparency and this robustness of the system. So the idea currently that many countries are trying to push forward is to digitize the digital trade, and there is even a UN framework called LETR, LLETR, which is a regulatory framework that gave, for the first time in humanity, in human history, the legal weight to numeric and digital documents as much as a normal document. So if you are immediately compliant, you can exchange digital format of a document. It's like if you are exchanging real documents. So the blockchain plus this regulatory framework is trying now to solve this big issue of digital trade. And Morocco is so interested in that, and I guess, it's not I guess, but it's a reality. The Ministry of Trade is involved in making Morocco a military compliance. So that was the last slide. I hope it was not boring. The idea is was to give you some insight about the adoption of cryptocurrency and blockchain, and also to give you some, let's say, direction of interest